Welcome back, folks, to Fishing Planet for the new Advanced series. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about in this series is how do fish spawn, because this is a big one that is this is a most important thing when doing tournaments and comps is this video. Sure, there's other things out there that can help you, but hands down, this will be the most important thing that'll help you. Now, I've already talked about it in the past, obviously, and this is more well known now than it was maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Not many people knew about it when I started putting videos out on this at all. But as you know, this is a very big part of tournaments and comps. And this can even help your normal fishing, and we'll explain how in a little bit here. But we are at Alaska. Now, the reason we're at Alaska is because this is the place I know better than any other place in the game. Um, Now, I know a lot of places pretty well, obviously, from doing comps, tournaments, and just playing this game as long as I have. But this place, I can really tear down this for you guys. So now, we're going to start off with timers. All right. So some of you guys know what's about to come. So in this game, uniques, trophy, and commons. Yes, commons. I said commons because sturgeon. If the common is the biggest thing, sometimes they can have a spawn timer. For example, um, sturgeon at San Joaquin have a 23-minute timer. You can catch three of them in 23 minutes with one pole. So, all right, so let's get into this, guys. But uniques, trophies, and commons, not all commons, some commons, have a respawn timer. What does this mean? All right, I'm in Alaska. You can see where I'm in here. I'm at the easiest place to catch Chinook unique. Now, keep in mind, I said easiest, not the best spot to catch a unique. There's a reason for that. So, we catch a unique here. You can sit here for the next 37 minutes and not get another unique Chinook. That is because of the respawn time on the unique Chinook is 37 and a half minutes. And you can see I don't even have a timer written down here. And why is that? Well, big thing too with knowing how unique spawn is knowing the zones that they spawn in. So you have to think of it like a giant circle. If I catch a unique here, I cannot catch a unique up here or here within that 37 minutes. So you can see the respawn circle is probably pretty big for this bad boy, right? No, this is going to be confusing to some people. It's why this is the advanced series. So if I go up to the top, and we'll just do this real quick so you can see, if we go up here to the back up to the cabin instead of being at the middle, we'll go out to the other Chinook spot here. There's 3 uni Chinook spots really here, and but 2 of them don't overlap. So you don't want to catch one there because it overlaps with this one and the one at the bottom. However, if you catch a unique right here, you can still catch one down here because that circle of influence almost, that big circle that was cutting them off doesn't reach down to here. So that's a big thing. And the reason is if you're in a tournament, in a half an hour, you can get 2 uniques if you fish the top and the bottom, which, by the way, this is a thing. I think Christmas Giants, the tournament is here. The finals are here. The semifinals are here. And you want to go to here and the bottom, not the middle, because if you go to the middle, it'll cut it off. Now, this works at all lakes. There's a couple exclusions, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. Now, They all are different too. So what do I mean? For example, this is where it's going to hang up a few people, guys. Trust me. And I'm not expecting everybody to get this. This is why it's the advanced series. Trophies. Now, if I catch, so in this spot, you can catch one unique and one trophy. If I catch a trophy here, I can actually still catch it in all these spots. In fact, the trophy spawn is circle is a lot smaller. So if I catch one here, you can actually catch a trophy right over here as well. It's really rare, but you can. And that's super important because if you were at an end of a tournament and you couldn't get any more uniques, you could still get trophies, and that's really important to know that, guys. Now, with that being said, that also applies to timers. Each fish is different. You almost have to think of a trophy being a different fish. For example, I don't know if I have them marked here just because I've known them so well. Um, there we go. You can see 37.5 minutes on the bull trots as well, but the trophies are a half an hour. So for all fish, they can, and a lot of times are different. Same with the spawn zones. When it comes to trophies, a lot of times you can catch them a lot closer to each other, and it's really important to know. And also, there can be multiples. So, for example, Dolly Varden up here, there is, if I remember correctly, into this whole area, because it does overlap, but in that whole area, you can catch 7 Dolly trophies and 5 trophy bull trout in that area in a half hour. And then you can catch one unique of each in 37 minutes. Now, I wouldn't dwell on each fish I'm talking about. I'm just using these examples because every fish is going to be different. A good representation of this is there's a lot of trophies of them bull trouts up there and dollies, but you're only going to get one trophy in Chinook. And if you do advance time, that does actually. So if the respawn timer is 37 real minutes, and you went like 3 hours in game down the road, and you advance 3 hours, you could get them again. This is why if a lot of people are common fishing like normal, with just normal fishing, they'll advance time and the fishing will get good again. And it's because them guys are respawned, the fish are respawned in that area. Now, the big thing I know you're asking is how do you find these timers and how do you remember them? Well, one, played the game a lot, so I remember them quite a bit. But otherwise, I write them down on my marks. So we're here at Falcon Lake. All right, so there is a trout tournament here, and I have this written down for almost all uniques, but we're going to use these as an example because they're different. I write these down like this. So one unique, 3 trophies in 30 minutes. All right, and then the same here, but uh, the uh, the uniques here are for the cutthroat, but there's 2 trophy browns here in a 30-minute period. Now, can you test that and you can see when the respawner time is? The easiest way is once you get good at catching a fish, is use 5 poles in a rod stand. That way, when they respawn, you have 5 chances to get it right away. Is it going to be the fastest each time? No, that's why you do it multiple times and you write down what your quickest respawn. And you're probably asking, well, if there's multiple uniques in a spot, how does that work? Well, if you have 5 poles out, we're going to generally catch some unique cutthroats pretty quick. And if I do it a few times, I'll get a pattern. For example, when I was here at Falcon Lake and how I found it, oh, there's 2 uniques. When I found it at Falcon Lake here, testing them, I actually caught my 2 unique cutthroats within like 3 minutes of each other, and I didn't get any again for a half an hour, and then 2 more came back right away. And that'll work with the trophies as well. Um, And that'll help you out a lot. Now, the thing to be careful with is when using a rod stand, if you catch one and then you right away catch another one on a pole, another unique right after. I mean, as you're reeling in the other one, that could be a what we call a fish clone, or a lot of you guys know it as double uniquing. I don't like that name. It's a name that we created, and I wish I hadn't. I wish I would call it fish cloning like Fish Planet does. That's a much better term. But if you have a little bit of a gap, it's a good way. Sorry, I have hiccups here, but that's a good way to know, hey, there we go. After a half an hour, they respawn. Now, a lot of fish, there's only one unique possible, like the Chinook. So when there's only one unique generally possible, another good example of this is Muskie at Michigan. The Michigan, I believe they are a 1 hour timer, so it's quite a bit before you catch another one. But you can still have a bunch of poles out, get your trophies, count your trophies out. For example, I know that trophies up there respawn a little bit quicker. I believe it's 45 minutes or half an hour. And you can use that to your knowledge in comps to be getting a better sizes, especially in tournaments. It's huge in the tournaments. Now, there are a few exceptions to the rule of spawn timers in fish spawn, or like the spawn zones. And one of them is spotting. Spotting completely breaks that system where you can catch them close to each other and really quick. We'll get into that in a late video down the road. And also Quanchkin Lake. So to every rule in Fishing Planet, basically, I have found that there is one lake that breaks almost every rule. And for this one, it's Quanchkin Lake. At Quanchkin Lake, either the timers and amount of fish are so large and the timers are so small that you can just catch them ridiculously quick that it makes them either irrelevant or they don't exist. And what do I mean by that? I have caught, I think, 7 spotted bass uniques in a row, and I've caught 4 unique flatheads in a row, and the same exists for every fish at that place. So some of them seem like they have a spawn timer. Like I used to think crappies at Louisiana had a spawn timer, but they don't. I've caught 4 in a row of them as well the last time I practiced for a tournament. So, with that being said, hopefully this didn't confuse the crap out of some of the people that are new to these timers. And just keep in mind, each fish is different, so you got to figure them out and you got to figure a way to track them. Otherwise, a lot of times on the channel, if you ask or if you're watching during the tournament, I'll tell you exactly what the timers are or what I do know the timers to be. That doesn't mean I have them perfect. It means that's because sometimes you might catch one at 45 minutes every time, a unique after 45 minutes. But then one time you might catch it in 35 and you'd be like, oh, okay, so it was there before, I just didn't catch it. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you folks next time. Have a good one.